Hey guys, welcome back to my channel one more time. My name is Preet and you're watching Info at a Glance, your very own immigration ease, where you watch videos and you become boss of your own immigration. And today, as promised, I'm back with another amazing video. This is gonna be an interesting eye-opener when we discuss this particular topic, which is LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment. So before we start, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, then please consider doing so and do press the bell icon for all the latest updates on Canada immigration. So what is LMIA? LMIA is actually Labor Market Impact Assessment, which is issued by the Employment and Social Development of Canada, the ESDC. And it is actually issued to an employer who is willing to hire somebody from outside the country. So in order for ESDC to issue an LMIA, there are certain requirements which an employer has to follow, and there are certain requirements which an applicant or the employee has to follow, or a would-be employee in better words. So let's understand the employer standpoint first, what exactly an employer has to fulfill in terms of getting an LMIA issued from ESDC. The first and foremost thing which an employer has to take care of is that the employer's business should be a genuine business and should be more than 1 year old. Number two, an employer who's willing to fill a particular position should have attempted to fill that position within the country by hiring someone who is a citizen or a permanent resident, because the ESDC evaluates the employment condition of the country and they want to make sure that hiring a foreign employer is not impacting the job opportunity or opportunities related to Canadian peers or Canadian citizens. So in order to get an LMIA from ESDC, the employer first rules an advertisement in the local newspapers or the available options with him for at least 6 weeks in order to hire somebody. And if that's not possible, then he attempts to find somebody outside the country and then approaches ESDC with all the paperwork and documentation that I am willing to hire somebody from outside the country and I've already tried to hire the same skill within the country, but I was not able to. As in, while submitting the advertisement, whatever applicants he got, how exactly was the response for those particular applicants, and he has to prepare a complete report. Now over here, the employer's previous history, attrition, compliance with federal and the provincial government, everything else is also evaluated while ESDC will issue an LMIA to an employer. It is also important for an employer to prove that there was no attrition on the same grounds within his company from last 12 months. The most important part over here is that ESDC will also evaluate if there is any kind of a financial transaction involved between the employer and the applicant to get that LMIA, because if somebody is trying to do it, it is illegal. And there are certain companies who are banned to issue you an LMIA. If you go to the Canadian websites and if you go to the link in the description box below, you will be able to find out what all businesses are banned who cannot issue an LMIA to you for XYZ reason, and that's primarily because they were involved in any kind of XYZ wrong practices or they do not have a good reputation with the federal or the provincial government. Also, these bans can be permanent or these bans can be temporary basis the employer or basis the criticality of the issue. So after completing the complete documentation with ESDC, the department evaluates the overall proposal that has been given by an employer, and then they further decide whether the LMIA has to be issued or not. Now the LMIA can be of two types. One, which will help an applicant attain a job offer, then an applicant can file a work permit, or a LMIA can be a dual intent LMIA, which can also be used in express entry profile, which will give you additional 50 points. Now, talking about IELTS or a language proficiency requirement, it totally depends on what kind of a job you have been issued or what kind of a LMIA that has been issued to you. It will be mentioned in the LMIA whether the IELTS requirement is mandatory for you to fill or not, because it is not necessary that your employer will actually raise that particular concern while filing his request with the ESDC, because at times there are jobs which does not require you to fill in requirement of language proficiency. Now, talking about time frame for getting an LMIA issued from an employer, I mean, if we talk about the processing time for ESDC, before that the advertisement has to be for at least 6 weeks. So it's a good possibility that the overall time frame for ESDC to approve and the advertisement troll and everything, the entire process may take up to 4 months or maximum 6 months. And talking about the cost and validity for LMIA, an employer actually has to pay LMIA fee to the ESDC, which is close to $1,000. Also, the other expenses of advertisement and coordinating previous interviews, that's additional. The validity, if an LMIA gets issued to an applicant stays active for only 183 days, which is close to 6 months. Now, talking about fraud, which is happening in the name of LMIA, let's just have a look at that. The most important thing is that the fraud is not just happening in India, but it is also in Canada. There are a few important things which you have to actually take care of when an agent or a consultant is giving you an assurance or a promise that they can arrange an LMIA for you, wherein the reality is totally different. I mean, if you simply scroll YouTube and if you find videos of people sharing their experience, you will find n number of examples wherein people have been given fake promises, people have been given fake documentation for an employer or a LMIA document which is not real, or the job that has been proposed to them is not even existing in the country, or the address is invalid, or the phone number which has been mentioned on LMIA document does not even exist. Also, an employer who's willing to hire you, an employer who's willing to give you a genuine LMIA will definitely conduct an interview to figure out whether you fit that particular job requirement or not. But what happens over here in India, few of the consultants, they directly give you an offer letter which makes no sense. Why? Because you have not even given an interview. Why would an employer be willing to invest money and time and efforts to hire somebody who's not even giving an interview to him? It does not make any sense at all. Now, when I talk about the possibility of you being scammed in the name of LMIA, you'll be surprised to know that 99% of the LMIA offers that has been offered to you in India, especially in North India, are actually fraud. Why? Because there is no reality, there is no existence, and the only thing which an agent or a consultant is interested in, just money. Because I have personally visited a lot of consultants and agents just to check what kind of offers they have for me or what kind of scam they are running, and I have been asked to pay 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs or even 40 lakhs for wherein I know what is the actual cost of an LMIA, and there is no reason for me to pay 25 to 40 lakhs to an agent just to get a letter which I'm 99% sure is gonna be fake. Also, the most important thing, few of the agents who even show you the documentation and job offer and everything, but they refuse to give you a copy, or they don't let you even check the documentation in full whether it is genuine or not. Do not fall for that particular scam. Some of these agents might give you a promising offer that the amount is pretty less, 20,000, 40,000, 60,000 just for an LMIA, which is not even a cost for an LMIA actually. Their actual idea is to only take that amount of money from you and then move to the next applicant who's interested in getting fooled. Do not fall for that kind of a scam. Also, it is illegal for an employer in Canada to take any kind of money from an applicant whom they are issuing an LMIA. But in the name of scam, in the name of fraud, a lot of that is happening. Even if 0.1% you have been offered a genuine LMIA and there is a money involved, a huge amount of money, can be $10,000, $20,000 or $30,000 from a Canadian employer, and you get an LMIA and even get a work permit. The moment you will reach Canada, there is no guarantee that the employer is going to fulfill his or her promises mentioned on the job offer letter, and you can't even change your employer basis the conditions of an LMIA. So there is no point falling for a trap, because eventually when you will move to a new country, you will have no hopes, no options for you to skip the job, and you have to actually follow the conditions or the terms given by an employer which are not even meeting the job offer requirement. You will find a lot of examples like this where people have been scammed in terms of getting such promises. And I was actually watching a video a few days back wherein somebody was sharing his experience, how exactly he was scammed in the name of LMIA, and then later he suffered for good 17 months under the same employer, and at the end he actually had to approach police to get a rescue. My honest advice for you, in order, if you are willing to work in Canada, or if you are so much interested in getting an LMIA and you know that your skill is rare to be found in the country, the only best option for you is to actually start hunting for employers on your own. Though that sounds impossible for you, but actually it is possible. I mean, the possibility may be less, but yes, it is possible if your skill is rare. Number one. Number two, if you have any friends or relatives in Canada, they can possibly help you find a genuine or a good employer who meets the bare minimum requirement of getting an LMIA issued to you without any financial transaction, which I was just discussing. Or by any chance, if you happen to have a visa for the country and you can easily travel, you can definitely go and look for a suitable employer who can get an LMIA issued to you within a simulated time period, come back to India get your LMIA along with you, and then apply for work permit from here. It is not recommended or advisable for you to go and do a flagpole and then change your visa over there within the country, or even extend your temporary status on any given grounds. And the most important, the bonus tip, if you happen to have a LMIA issued to you and you have the document with you, you want to make sure whether it is accurate or not. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is to pick up your phone, search for the number for Service Canada. There are n number of outlets which are the government divisions for Canada, for employees, for people, for citizens, for PR holders, for students and everyone within the country. You can simply call Service Canada directly. You can tell them the LMIA issued number and you will get to know whether the LMIA is genuine or not, because your LMIA will have the business number, which is the BIN number, also the CRA number, which is the Canada Revenue Agency number, which can easily help the Service Canada representative to give you a heads up whether the document which you are holding is absolutely legit or not. On that particular document, it is necessary for an employer to mention each and every detail in terms of your employment, which can be related to your working hours, your salary, your insurance details, the skill involved, the efforts involved, and the basic generic details which are required in or if they are sponsoring you with their flights, accommodation, food, etc. So an LMIA document may differ basis your skill. It has to be a 6 to 8 page documentation. You have to check the issued date, you have to check when it is expiring, and you have to keep in mind it takes 183 days for an active LMIA to expire. If an agent or a consultant says that I have an LMIA ready for you, it's going to expire in 10 days, just make a payment and collect it, understand it's a fraud, it's a scam. So that was all about LMIA. If you have any more questions about this, you can definitely connect with me on my Instagram handle. The barcode is on your screen, which is info@aglance21. Also, if you like the video, do press the like button and do share the video with your peers who are interested in Canada immigration and who actually want to understand the immigration process and to understand how exactly LMIA can be evaluated or determined whether it is genuine or not. And do consider subscribing to my channel and press the bell icon for all the latest updates on Canada immigration. So until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye.